What's that? Looking good. All right. All right, welcome back to Jimmy Meets World Vlog, where I, Jimmy, that's me, covers my comedy journey via my RV life and all the shenanigans that we get into in between, yes? All right, before we get any further, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole situation. Potatoes. Hey, listen, cliches exist for a reason. I am Irish and I do love potatoes. But anyway, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the video itself, would you do me a favor? Would you like it? You know, would you possibly share it if that's okay? Comment if you'd like, even if you don't like it, let me know. And if you could find it in the kindness of your heart to subscribe, that'd be great. Put some food in my doggy's belly. They would really appreciate it. Well, and me too. Yeah, me too. But it's them first. All right, and just like we do every single time before we get started, let's relax a little bit. Let's observe nature. And let's do the hike of the week. The hike of the week. What's this week? It's Cathedral Rock and Raven Caves. We double down. It's a double take. And we went to the Raven Caves as well. So it's Cathedral Rock Trail and the Raven Caves in Sedona, Sedona, Arizona. Am I in the zona in Arizona in a place called Sedona? Oh, I might be Alona if I keep on saying that, you know. Wasn't that nice and relaxing? I certainly enjoyed that. That was wonderful. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Speaking of the plan at hand, listen, sometimes you have a plan, like I have a plan, right? And then the climate of the world changes, things change, and then God changes your plan, right? So, like I said, I got the vid and I got sick and I have all this stand-up, like backlog of stand-up that I've been rehearsing and trying to perform and do, but then also got to build up the channel. Why do you got to build up the channel? Because if you just go to people and say, hey, I'm funny, hire me and pay me money for funny jokes, they're going to say, okay, well, how many followers you got? And then you're going to be like, oh, well, you know, I mean, followers. Well, what are followers, right? So it's much easier to get somewhere with the clout. So I've been concentrating lately on building up the online presence. And why would you want to do that? Well, you do that so that you can have the video clout. And also, not only the online social presence clout, but that you can get through and build these good habits of making sure you're posting on your socials every day, making sure that you're cutting videos and building these videography skill sets and these digital marketing skill sets that really can help you in anything that you do. So all that being said, I took some of these, I took all my skill sets that I've just been talking about and I applied it towards this new segment that I built and designed called Funny or Not, where I take real life jokes that I've been working on and I implement them into this thing. And I say, hey, you audience, you let me know, is it funny or is it not? And it's a nice little fun little thing you get to do every week. I think we're in week 4 or so, but you got to cut the thumb, you got to cut the intro, you got to design it, you got to do all these things. It's all up to you, you know? It's like, oh man, all this responsibility. It's like, yeah, that's just one little thing, So listen, I know I have been talking about I need to implement the stand-up, and I know I owe you guys the sales development side of these things, and I have been working towards that. One little tidbit I'll give you guys, one little tip, is Gig Salad is a website that I've just recently been receiving leads from and working leads from and sending quotes to people for corporate gigs. And that seems to be a pretty solid, it's like, it seems to be like Tinder for talent and events. It's like it hooks the talent up with the event that needs the talent, so to speak. You know, it's like Tinder except for no getting catfished. Isn't that nice? So yeah, so Gig Salad is something I have been using and it seems to be pretty helpful and productive. So it seems to be, if you have the money to spare, I know comedians are broke, but if you have the money to spare, it seems like it would be worth it because we are comedians and getting gigs to get paid is the purpose of being a comedian, right? Sometimes you're just like, you forget. Like, yes, indeed, I am a comedian. This is true. But I am much more than a comedian. Just like you're much more than a barista, or a broker, or a ballet, I don't know, people that do ballet, right? You're so much more than your day job. Warning. I'm about to talk about God. I'm about to talk about God. Do not adjust your television. I'm about to talk about God. Yes, indeed, I am about to talk about God. I'm about to get godly. But why? I'm about to get godly because it's about the kids, man. It's about the kids. The kids are dying every day of suicide, of drug overdoses, of violence, of killing themselves. And what are the parents doing? Are they fixing it? No, they're too busy fighting rather than fixing. So I feel like I have been called. I feel like the Lord has called me to do something about. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, or my mouth where my money is. I know that most of you don't know this about me, about Jimmy, but once upon a young James, I was a troublemaker. In fact, I was probably born grounded as a kid, and I bounced. All through my adolescence, I bounced in and out of boarding schools and behavior modification programs and trouble with the law and being on probation and all these different things. But the root of all the problem was that I was an Irish Catholic boy from a broken home that was upset about the world that I was living in and the stepdaddy that I didn't want, right? And so I was at war with myself, only hurting myself. I know what it's like to be a young person in this world, and in a world that really makes no sense to you, until one day a mustard seed was planted inside me that took years and years to come to fruition and to mature. But it was then that I knew that God indeed had a plan for me, and God had a plan for all these things that happened in my life. As a kid, and even after a kid, we often wonder, why did these things happen in our life? Why us? Why me? And now it is in this moment that I understand why I went through all those storms that I went through as a kid, so that I could speak some life and breathe some life back into the youth of America today. And so help and support me and hold me accountable, because I will be meeting with my local youth pastors at local churches and local nonprofits. And most recently, I'll be contacting the Department of Arizona Juvenile Correction Facilities to meet with them about speaking with this young youth to see what we can do to help push them away from the drugs and the violence and the trouble that these kids are dying from every single day, instead of just sitting around and arguing with each other about it, actually breathing some love instead of hate. into these youth of America. One of the biggest things that people will say to you when you tell them about God, he's talking about God, he's talking about Jesus. But one of the biggest things they'll say, how can God let bad things happen to good people? And here is the answer, is that sometimes God will let a bad thing happen. He'll let what the devil has created and create a testimony that will save hundreds, maybe thousands of people. So you take a bad thing and it turns into 100 good things. Does that make sense? Can you write that down? Right. I mean, I can send it to you. I'll email it to you. How about, well, you call me and we'll hook up lunch, tea, I don't know, coffee. All right, so listen, so I've got new stand-up coming out real soon, I promise, and I've got some new shorts and some new sketches that I'm working on, some new material. Please, thank you for being patient with me. Just God is calling me to do some extra stuff for somebody else, for the youth, to help America, to actually, I'm just being called, it's like someone's like, do something, do something about it. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to work all that into my time and everything that I've already been doing. So I really appreciate that. So if you could just like it, subscribe, and just support me in this whole thing, that would really be fantastic. That would be fantastic. I really appreciate that. Until next time, I'm Jimmy, and it's been nice meeting you, world. That's it. That's all we got, I think. Unless you just want to hang out. We could chill. You see the bear, right? He's not happy. He is not